Hello everyone, I'm just standing here having a nice chilled glass of wine. Hey everybody, on today's episode of Cooking with Chris, we are going to be talking about something that if you're on any sort of fitness program or you're watching your weight or doing keto or a lot of the things we talk about on this channel, this is an item that is probably not on your menu, and that's cheesecake. And if you've tried some of the sugar-free cheesecakes that you can occasionally find in the store, they're kind of crummy and you probably didn't think they had much flavor or they kind of fell flat. Well, today we are going to give you the recipe and the how-to to make a low-carb, an extremely low-carb, sugar-free, gluten-free cheesecake that tastes exactly like a New York-style cheesecake. Heavy, creamy, thick, cold, deliciously sweet, all of those things. But before we get in all that, if you're new to the channel, I want to remind you to please subscribe and hit the little bell, the little subscription bell, so that you get notifications when these recipes come up and are available so you don't miss anything on the channel. So we have a lot of things on the channel. We have Cooking with Chris, we have health and wellness, we have a keto diet series going on right now, and we have tons of skincare, which is what I'm known for. So please, by all means, please subscribe. You can always unsubscribe if you don't like the stuff, which I hope that doesn't happen. But before we get into this, I just wanted to bring that up and do that right now before we get started. So if you're new to the channel, you probably don't know this, but even if you're not new, all of the directions, the ingredients, the recipe itself, and the nutritional information are always down in the video description box. So all of those things will be there. And since a cheesecake is a very step-by-step process and we don't want a 30-minute video, I'm going to go through the ingredients and the steps very quickly, and I ask that you copy and paste the actual recipe instructions to use for yourself. But it helps to go through and see how this all works, since it's a little bit different than the traditional kind. Now for the crust, which is always the first thing, you're going to turn your oven to 350 and let that preheat. You're going to need 2.5 cups of walnuts or pecans. I use walnuts because they tend not to burn and they tend to have more of a crusty, kind of a bready flavor. That's what we're using today in this recipe. We're going to use black walnuts, and we're going to 2.5 cups of those into the food processor. They go to grind them up until they're sort of a coarse meal-like. You don't want them super fine. You want it sort of coarse as it looks like here in the video, and you're going to set that aside for a second. You're going to need 2 tablespoons of sugar substitute. Now today in this recipe we're using xylitol, but you can use stevia, powdered stevia, or any baking mix if you don't care about the carbohydrate counts. What you want to use, however, is a sugar substitute that's got a ratio that's the same as sugar. So if it's a 1/2 cup of sugar, it's a 1/2 cup of the sweetener. So you're going to use 2 tablespoons of that. You're going to add 2 teaspoons of cinnamon to your crust. And then you're going to add 4 tablespoons of melted butter. And you're going to use a fork and just mix this all together, and it's going to look crumbly just like it would if you were doing a graham cracker crust or a topping. It's going to be kind of coarse and crumbly. Then you're going to pour this into your pan. Make sure you coat the entire bottom of the springform pan, say that quickly 3 times fast, so that it's got an even texture all the way across. Then you're going to put this in the oven and you're going to bake it for 10 minutes. Be sure you watch it. You don't want to burnt nuts. You have to start all the way over. So 10 minutes, take it out and reduce that oven temperature down to 325 degrees. Then what you're going to do is you're going to need 4 packages of cream cheese. I use Philly, and 5 eggs that have been set aside earlier, about 45 minutes ahead at room temperature. Now I'll give you a tip here with cream cheese. Be sure you take it out of the foil packages and put it in the bowl before it becomes room temperature, because if you don't, it's going to be stuck to the foil when you try to remove it, and it's going to be a great big mess. So I'm telling you now, take it out, put it in the bowl, let those items become room temperature. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna need a 3/4 cup of sugar substitute. Same thing, sugar substitute to sugar ratio, you want it to be about the same, 3/4 a cup. Now usually in regular cheesecakes, we use a whole cup of sugar, and I'm gonna address that in a second, but it's 3/4 a cup. Xylitol is what we're using, so whatever you're using. And then 10 drops of stevia liquid or 10 packets of stevia powder. So stevia won't bake out of the cake, and it helps give that a more sugar flavor without any aftertaste at all. Then what you're going to have to do is you're going to need to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Okay, so you've got your sugars, your stevia, your vanilla, and your cream cheese, and you're going to whip all that together and cream it really, really good and smooth. Then what you're going to do is then add in a cup of sour cream. Okay, put the cup of sour cream in there, and you're gonna whip it up again, get it nice and smooth. And then you're going to add your eggs 1 egg at a time. And you're just gonna beat the egg in lightly. You're not gonna blend it all the way in, just enough to get it kind of mixed up in the batter. You're gonna do this for each egg, and the reason that we do it this way is we don't wanna incorporate a lot of air in the batter, because air makes cheesecakes uneven, it makes them crack. So we wanna put as little air in the cheesecake as possible. So we do all the 5 eggs, and then you're going to add your lemon and lime and orange zest. And again, check the ingredients and the steps in the video description. You're gonna need the zest of 3 items, a lemon, a lime, and an orange, and this makes this cheesecake immensely flavorful, very, very summery and citrusy, and perfect for any topping that you put on it. So you whip all of those things together very, very well, and then you're gonna put the batter into the cooled pan with the crust, okay? Put it in there, and you're gonna sit it in the 350-degree oven. Now, most recipes call for 45 minutes. I have found this particular cheesecake takes an hour, but watch it starting at 45 minutes. What you wanna see is the outside edges of the cheesecake will rise up above the pan a little bit, while the middle stays low and sort of wet. It's the last thing to cook. So at 45 minutes to an hour, when the very edges are starting to get brown and the middle has set, it's sort of like Jell-O. It's not liquidy, but just will jiggle. It's time to take the cheesecake out of the heat. So what you're gonna do, turn the oven off, leave the cheesecake in the oven, shut the door for 10 minutes. Then you're gonna open the door, crack it, and let the heat out, and let the cheesecake slowly cool down so that it does not crack. All right, that's gonna take about 20 minutes. So after about a half hour after you've turned the oven off, you're gonna take the cheesecake out and let it come to room temperature. Take a buttered knife around the edge of the pan. Usually the cake separates itself, but if it hasn't, go ahead and take a buttered knife around the edge. And then after the cake has become room temperature, probably about another hour, because it takes a long time for these to cool off. They're very dense. Take the springform pan piece off, pop the little lever and take it off, and let it finish cooling all the way. Then you're gonna chill this cheesecake overnight, okay? It needs to be cold. It will set up the rest of the way. It's fully cooked, and it's ready for any topping that you wanna put on it. Now, we used a blackberry reduction for the topping, which is sugar-free, just the fruit. If you're doing keto and you don't want fruit, you don't need to put anything on here. You can just eat it the way it is. And I guarantee you this is going to be the closest thing to a New York style cheesecake you've ever had that's sugar-free, and the crust is amazing. Those walnuts, you don't miss the graham crackers at all. So please, as I always say, be sure and take a minute and subscribe if you haven't before. Hit the little bell so you get these notifications. I don't want you to miss any of the recipes we have coming up. We have a lot of great stuff, just like this recipe, and a lot of the things that I'm going to be doing come from people who watch the show. So again, I appreciate your time today. I hope you enjoy this cheesecake. Again, let me know what you think of it, and how it worked out for you, and what toppings you used and what you did with it, or what variations you may have found to do on your own. Let me know. I always answer those questions and comments within 24, 48 hours, and I really look forward to seeing them. So until our next recipe, bon appetit, and we will see you soon.